Yeah, but Eric, we kind of established at the start that you are the new Chuck, so you can be the singer.
No.
Can you sing? Can you sing like Chuck?
No.
Can you try? Can you try for us a little bit?
Pull the plug.
That was
no, it's not going to happen. But I can understand the joke with me, but what about people who were weaned on Chuck's vocals who've become vocalists of bands themselves? Obviously, we could find somebody, but you know what? Just like there's a zillion guitar players, and there are 15-year-old guitar players who can play all the licks on all the Death albums, and they do it well, but they're not Chuck. No, Chuck was unique. It's never going to be out of his brain.
No. I mean,
that came with all this stuff.
It is, every question can come with a drop of humor, but in all seriousness, there's no way it should happen. Questions were put like that, like, will there be a tour? And I just think, you know what, I'm not even going to ask that, because that would be so stupid. People would think, yeah, but maybe you could put Chuck on like a screen. It's like, yeah, or maybe not. Like,
and maybe I'll eat my words. Maybe this interview will come to haunt me. Maybe in 2 years my opinion will change, and they'll think of a way to reanimate Chuck.
Well,
ashes in some sort of AI. I don't know. I have no idea. I just know that as much as anyone, I'm haunted by the guy, but I don't have the ability to divine his will. I've tried Ouija boards. I've tried green tea. For Christ's sake, I'm friends with Paul Masvidal. If between us we haven't been able to conjure up his spirit in order to get new material, it's just not going to happen, folks.
To be honest, though,
there is no Chuck Schuldiner, there will not be an actual Death band.
I do kind of think that I can see the future, though, Eric. And based on that fact, because it is fact, I'm going to sell it to you now. I think that with your two pancreases, you're going to mutate into a destroyer of worlds, and
oh my God, it's happening now.
That was like Alien, Alien.
That cool.
That was I actually believe.
Was this sort of my hands are here? Something in my.
Okay, the next question.
Sure.
I'm gonna ask you, and then I'm gonna answer it, because somehow I know this. I don't know.
Wow, you're an interviewer.
So
Jeremy Paxman or whatever.
So Eric, who's going to be doing the liner notes for the Human reissue? Oh, well, actually, it's going to be Paul Masvidal. Thanks very much, Eric. That was great. So the artwork, another question is, it is actually Paul Masvidal, isn't it, doing the liner notes for?
But he's not the only one, James. It's also Jim Morris.
Of course.
Morristown. He also did one.
Yeah. So yeah,
and since I know you've seen those notes, you already know that, don't you?
What? I don't know. What? I don't know anything about anything. What are you talking about? Another question that has been asked, which I think is quite a good one: will all of the artwork be redone by Travis Smith? Did he do all the albums?
No. Travis only did the last album, so that is obviously the one that he worked on.
So what's happening with that?
With what?
The album covers. Does anyone? Do you think they want to get reworked or?
No, no. The Perseverance was a one-off. It was the last Death album. It was one by which I actually know the artist, and the artist and I talked about it. It was his idea to redo it. We would have been happy to put it out as it was originally out on Nuclear Blast. But Travis had a legitimate point, and I thought, that's great. I totally trust him. I know if Chuck was around, Chuck would trust him to rework it. And look what he did. It's brilliant.
I would... Sorry.
99.9% of the Death fans think it's brilliant. So...
I guess...
but we're not going to start all the Death records. They're the classics that you've come to love.
Yeah, man. I guess it's just that thing of, like, people see one album get a slight redesign, they think, okay, so all of them get the same treatment or something like this, Yeah.
Look, we remastered... Man, I can't talk. We because I'm so hungry. James. We remastered Perseverance, right? But we are remixing Human. It doesn't mean that everyone's going to get remixed. It's just we're not doing a formulaic assembly line kind of way of working this out. In fact, that's what we don't want to do. Each one is individual. We're not doing it the same way twice. Every reissue is being done on its own with the merits of each record and what we want to include in it taken on a case-by-case basis, and that's that.
Yeah. Okay, Eric, just to get back to the point of a few credits that I missed. The fan that asked about the artwork for the reissues was Jason Nitz, and the guy who asked about the liner notes for Human is Freddie from Houston, Texas. So there is those guys. Those guys are credits. But the next question is to do with the live DVDs, the official live DVDs that Death did release. Live in Eindhoven and live in LA. The question is from Ernad, and it is to do with: are we potentially going to see a reissue, re-release, remaster? I mean, what can be done with these live shows?
Funny you should ask about that, James. No, funny, but I've been trying to get that stuff out of Nuclear Blast for quite some time, and it sort of created a funny situation where I kept writing them. Can you please send that stuff to Relapse, please?
They're German, so they don't get that.
Well, I'm married to an Austrian. My 2 children actually go to German bilingual school, so even the German wasn't an issue, even though my German is crap. It was just, I don't know what it was. They said they sent it. It was never received. Then they did send some stuff, but it turned out to just be their commercially released copies, not the masters. I then pleasantly, without ever losing my temper, because I rarely lose days, I just said, guys, we really need to find those masters. And it turned out it wasn't really Nuclear Blast. It was Nuclear Blast's pressing plant. I guess they changed facilities. They went back to a previous facility, and there they found it. And I'm very happy to say that Relapse just confirmed a couple of weeks ago that they did receive all that stuff. So when I have my production meeting at Relapse at the end of May, I will go over all of that stuff, and we do plan on releasing, reissuing, re-releasing all that stuff, all that live cool stuff.
Cool. I imagine pretty much as it came out the first time. I mean, there's no real sort of touching up or anything like this to be. I
don't really know what to expect when I get to Relapse and see what they sent from Germany.
Well, if there's one thing people do want, they want the live in Eindhoven, because live in LA you can kind of get it. Live in Eindhoven, it's impossible to get. So yeah, people want that over.
And you know what? I hope it's there. I just, in a blur. You have to understand. I wish. Well, I'm not going to bore you, but I was going to take the camera and move it around, show you my screen, and you'll see on my screen I've got over 1,100 unopened emails in my inbox. 1,100. So I
didn't send you 1,100 emails.
Activity every day, and from Relapse, probably 50 emails from various Relapse people every day that I have to go through. Between that and on my BlackBerry, and there was a flurry of information in relationship to what was received from Nuclear Blast. But frankly, I was in LA on vacation with my family at the time, and I don't really remember, other than Drew did confirm that a bunch of stuff that we needed and were way drive from Germany. So I'm imagining the masters to Eindhoven are in there.
So, moving on to the next question. Who Ron has said, I recall reading something about 20 years ago in an old issue of Metal Maniacs under Borovoy
Kurgan, yeah.
Borovoy Kurgan.
Yes, from Highlander.
Kurgan.
The only one.
Kurgan.
Yeah, the only one Borovoy, and there is.
Okay. Anyway, I feel like I haven't really asked the question now. I feel like. But anyway, that dude's thrash report column. that Chuck had written several songs between the Human and individual albums. One title I remember was Message from God. I can't recall the other two. Do demo recordings of these songs exist, and can we expect to see them included as bonus tracks as part of the Relapse reissue campaign? And that's from Ron. So I guess Ron's asking about random songs that Chuck did.
I am the right person to ask, but I guess I'm not the right person to ask because Chuck and I were bitter enemies during that during that period of time, because we had another falling out.
Because you were in liquid form.
Tour, which the Human Tour, Chuck left the tour prematurely and fired me, and we fought for a while.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Anyway, it's during this period that the allegation of him having written this stuff comes out. I frankly don't know, and if that kind of stuff does surface in all of those endless DATs, cassette tapes, and whatnot that we have from Chuck, then that will see the light of day.
It's kind of exciting to think what could be on these tapes. I mean,
no, I agree with you. I don't want someone to think that we're holding it off for commercial reasons or whatever. What our goal is, and this should answer maybe someone else's question too. What our goal is to have the complete set of tapes and everything that we know of, so that we can complete the idea of having bonus tracks. Right? We were able to do that adequately for Human. We were going to make it 4 CDs, but we ended up whittling it down to 3 CDs. We figured that's enough material. It's like 3 hours of material, including the remixed album. We did the same thing for Perseverance, and next it's a quest to fill the void for all the other records. So our job, that's why it's such a painstaking process, is because we have to go through all the material to make sure that we have enough to fill 3 CDs of bonus,
sure.
Extra bonus material for each one.
Okay.
So if we find it and it's related to incomes from that period, it will be included with individual. That's all I can really say.